Gervonta Davis's trainer has a message for Shakur Stevenson, and it's a time limit, and also analyzes what is going on with the fight between the two, when and if he thinks it's going to happen. Let's talk about that in this video. Kenny Ellis is the trainer for Gervonta Davis alongside Calvin Ford. In an interview that was done with Mill City Boxing on Mill City Boxing's YouTube channel, Kenny Ellis was asked about Gervonta Davis and Shakur Stevenson. And he made a couple key observations that I wanted to share with you and I want to discuss with you. First, he talked about him signing with Matchroom. He also talked about the year 2025 and said something important about the year 2025. And also, look, man, at the end of the day, these promotional companies are out to provide and secure their own survival. Not that of fight fans or of boxers themselves. So some of this stuff that we claim about, we don't like about boxing, and some of the reasons these fights aren't getting made are just part of the nature of the people and the self-interest of the people that are involved and make up the sport. Now, before I get into the details, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. Thank you so much for checking in. Shout out to Barbara D. Shout out to Matty Yo, king of the super thanks. I hadn't said thank you in a while, but shout out to you, brother. Thank you so much for your support, Matty Yo. Also, Ashawn Denton. Hey, man, keep it up. I'm with you, brother. Hope you're doing well. And shout out to Daryl McKinney. But let's get to this. So when is the fight going to happen? And Kenny Ellis said, look, man, first of all, Shakur could have had this fight if Shakur wanted the fight. Eddie Hearn didn't want that fight. Shakur didn't want that fight right now. So he goes off and signs up to fight two fights that should be easy for him. One is Joe Cordina. That should be easy, according to Kenny Ellis. And the other one is William Zepeda. And according to Kenny Ellis, he believes that Shakur Stevenson will easily beat William Zepeda. But he says that Matchroom themselves do not have an interest in the fight. Matchroom does not have an interest in the fight. Now, why would he believe that? Track record. There's no reason for Eddie Hearn to want to fight between Shakur Stevenson and Gervonta Davis. None. There is no reason for Turkey Al-Sheikh to want to fight between Gervonta Davis and Shakur Stevenson. None. And why do I say that? I say that because of the third point that I mentioned in the intro conversation we had, that some things are just innate in the people, and they are part of the role, or let me say, better say, it's innate to the role that people are playing. If you are a policeman, you, over time, dealing with criminals, dealing with suspects, dealing with people that have been harmed, will eventually begin to see the world like a policeman. And you, because of the nature of your job and the things that you see, will start behaving like other policemen behave without really even noticing it. But other people will know it and they'll say, hey, man, you changed. Well, what changed you? The role changed you. Same thing about like a mayor. If you graduate from college and you've got a friend and you guys are out there at bars, drinking at a bar, having a good time, over a series of years, running girls, doing all of that. And one day, man, you haven't seen your friend for a couple years and he's running for mayor of Chicago. He wins the mayor of Chicago, or mayor of Memphis. I'll use an actual example for me. The mayor of Memphis. I got a good friend that is a younger dude I mentored, is the mayor of Memphis. He has changed. And why has he changed? He's changed because he runs a city. He's also changed because every time he gets on his phone, it's public record. Every time he says something, it's in the newspaper. So that is going to change somebody. So what do I mean about promoters? Well, all the promoters say, hey, we're going into this business. Like, take Oscar De La Hoya. I'm going in here for the fighters. Clapback Thursdays. I'm going for the fighters, man. I'm here for the fighters. He's here for the fighters. That's what he'll say, right? But then what happens years later? What does Canelo Alvarez see him as? Does Canelo Alvarez see Oscar De La Hoya as a fighter, or does he see him as a promoter? He sees him as a promoter, sticking his hand in his pocket, saying, hey, man, if DAZN is paying you 35, why are you only giving me 25? Why are you getting a 10? Isn't that the same dynamic as a what? Fighter and a promoter? That's the relationship. So that's the role Oscar De La Hoya plays. Eddie Hearn is a promoter, and his number one job, I don't care what Turkey Al-Sheikh says, Bob Arum says, I don't care what else is going on. His number one job is to ensure that Matchroom Boxing makes it to the next calendar year in a profitable manner. That's it. That's his whole job. So he'll work with Turkey, but if that doesn't work for Matchroom, it better be something super personal for him to ignore Matchroom. But as far as his job, he's going to do what he has to do. So why would he want Gervonta Davis and Shakur Stevenson to fight? Think about it. He probably wouldn't. Number one, he's not going to make any money. And why wouldn't he make any money? Because the fight's got to go to Amazon Prime. Because the fight has to go to Amazon Prime. So he will not be making a lot of money on that fight. So isn't it better for him to have Shakur Stevenson fight 2-3 of his guys so he gets paid on both sides of the equation and Shakur doesn't get beat? You can't sell a fighter. If you don't believe me, go ask Bill Haney. It's tough to sell a fighter that just got his ASS whooped, isn't it? So is he willing to throw Shakur Stevenson in there with Gervonta for a real quick payday, of very little of which comes to him? Or will he just tell Shakur Stevenson whatever he wants to hear and get him to fight on Matchroom cards? And I don't know, maybe do him like Deontay, eventually start saying, hey, man, I can't, we can't get this fight at 135, man. So let's go on up to 140, Shakur. Let's go on up to 140, Shakur, where all the heat is. Yeah, I'm really trying to make all these fights, but these fights, they're really not, man, they're not reacting right. They're asking for too much money. Hey, let's go to 140. Why not go to 140? Before you know it, Shakur's behind to be at 147, messing around with Eddie Hearn. Either that or he's going to go back to back with Euro dudes. So that's why I say, no, I don't really think he wants it, because I can't see really what's in it for him to make that fight. In the way out, and I don't think it's too crazy to think Shakur Stevenson can win the fight. But if he does win, again, what does that do for Shakur? Does that immediately transfer into superstardom for Shakur? No. Because did it for Terrence Crawford? No. Eddie Hearn's boy, dang sure just lost some money on Terrence Crawford out there in California. So at the end of the day, man, I do not have a lot of faith in UK and German promoters promoting American fighters primarily in the United States. Again, Eddie Hearn doesn't even know where Decatur, doesn't even know how to pronounce Decatur, and doesn't know Decatur is right next to Atlanta. So how are you going to know the audience of the people that are going to buy Jaron Ennis if you don't even know that you've got a gigantic base of his potential fans just a few miles down the road from Decatur, Georgia? But anyway, that's my take on the matter. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.